lawyer.
Fuck your feelings.
Welcome to Fuck Your Feelings, the greatest podcast to ever exist, man. I'm excited. Hey, man, I'm excited because CT is back in the building, bro. You are. I'm gonna tell you why I'm excited you here, bro. You're the reason. You're exemplifying what this podcast is about. I want it to be a hangout spot for me and my comedian friends. Like, I want people to come back. I want motherfuckers to be like, I ain't doing shit on a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. Can I pull up? Yes, bro. I want this to be like a podcast open mic where we just come through.
That's fire.
Yeah, and kick shit, bro.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I like literally before we even start this episode. When are you doing the next one?
I know. That's what I'm talking about. In June, pull up. I'm not bullshitting, bro. You always got to see all y'all. I'm dead ass serious. Like, that's the whole point. We got Keenan Baker. We got Trey Stewart. We got CT. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something I didn't realize, because I kind of had took a step away from social media. It's well documented, anybody that follow me. And I made my reappearance. It's well documented. Go listen, go watch the Keenan episode if you want to know about it. So it's well documented. But, damn, what was the point that I was going to get to? The point is this.
Why'd you stop? Like, we went from doing TV to... and you stopped when you got TV. You stopped doing social media.
Oh, I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. So before you got here, they was asking me why I stopped doing social media. And I was telling them so I could focus on booking a TV and film gig, because at the time, nobody wanted to be like a YouTube comedian. Like, that was a real thing. Like, you was kind of laughed at by stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
If you was a YouTube comedian. So I didn't want to do that. And so I saw Spoken Reasons, though. I had got off social media to focus on booking TV. I booked some TV. I saw Spoken Reasons book that movie called The Heat with Sandra Bullock. And that was a big deal. So he was on that, and I said, let me get my ass back on YouTube. And I went viral. I did these BET hip hop spoofs. Went viral, real quick. But I was telling them my issue was, man, YouTube used to be so easy for me. And I need a challenge. And when something's not challenging for me, I'm kind of like, all right, on to the next. And I went viral super quick again. And then I was like, man, let me focus back on acting. And I'm going to tell you, know what it really was, too? And I'm going to let y'all talk. People watching like, man, fuck you, man. I came here for CT and Keenan and Trey.
This is your show, man. You better talk.
This is what I was on the road with Afion Crockett. We in Foot Locker. A dude came up to me. It was a group. They was like, "Oh man, you the dude from Vine," and I was like, "The fuck, nigga." I felt disrespected. I'm like, "Don't you know I've been on several MTV prank shows that nobody have seen? Don't you know the fuck I'm doing out here in these streets?" And that shit really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, I didn't move to LA to become a Vine star. I'm like, I could have did this shit in Florida.
You could have.
Yeah, and so I was like, I know, and I should have. I would have been more successful. And so I was like,
there's still time.
There's still time. Well, I'm on there. I bought Vine. Did you know this? I invested.
I bought Vine.
Yeah. With Bitcoin. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Stock's plummeting, but I'll be all right. So anyways, but they asked me, Keenan was telling me, he said, I wish you would have never got off YouTube. And I tell him, I wish the same thing. That was my biggest regret, bro. That's my biggest professional regret is that I got off of social media, bro. I got off YouTube.
Well, YouTube specifically, why?
Because I feel like ultimately it's about the people and it's about having a fan base. And what I realized is without a fan base, you can't go touring when it comes to stand-up.
Right.
So let me ask you this. One, do you feel like it was ego? Because when somebody came to you, especially that time, because
that was ego for sure.
And then because a lot of us didn't really know the internet like that. We did have an ego in ourselves, like we're stand-up comedians, y'all internet comedians. That was literally a beef at one point.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I don't think it's
not as bad as it was.
It's nowhere near as bad as it was. But I feel like, especially now, maybe not then, but now, people kind of respect social media people. Not necessarily more than movie stars, but maybe in some cases they do.
Oh, they are the new. They're this generation's.
Yeah, this is
famous people.
Famous people. Like, well, even like I'm not big. But the stuff I've even done with All Def or stuff like I told Clayton multiple times when I'm on tour with Tony, people be like, "Yo, anybody can get it." They yelling stuff from his sketches, and they know me from that, and they care about that. That's big to them.
Yeah,
and it's like that's why I know I got on late with the internet stuff, but like I was just like, nigga, I'm not stopping this. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not
I was
only
literally
that-
called fuck
Fuck
your
your feelings.
feelings.
Fuck your
yeah.
feelings.
I don't know what I was
Fuck
thinking.
Not only that, if you want to pull your dick out.
Well, hey, whoa, hey.
Wait a minute.
But
Yo, that would be such a wild ass request.
yeah, what do you think of? You know what? I was thinking about that. CC. I was thinking about that. Trey, let me just
Hey, you know, anybody want to
put it back in. But all right,
Pull
so
your dick out.
continue the podcast like nothing happened. All right, so
It's good to
back to the
know.
internet, man. But I really was like,
Yo, wait.
I'm trying to move on, CC.
What if the word got out? He'd be like, hey, man, yo, go do Justice Podcast, man.
Pull your dick out,
Hey,
man.
man, he said you could just pull your dick out.
Yeah, man.
But it's a room of 4 dudes. Hey, man, it's for the people.
It's for the hey man, we trying to build our women fan base.
Yeah.
And homosexual men. Okay.
right.
I'm about to say that's the fan base that's gonna get built more likely
Yeah.
than the women
Man.
fan base.
I mean, I feel you.
But but I do feel like the internet, because I think there was a thing that Teharte did on one of his on Squadcast, and it was like, would you rather be the biggest internet star or would you rather be like a B-list actor, right? And
Well, he should have asked me. I'll tell you.
I thought it was a great question. I was just like, yo, B-list actor sounds amazing,
Sounds.
but the #1 internet star is making a fuck ton
All
of
the
money,
Millions.
All of them.
and they're famous as fuck.
Well,
In the-
yes and no.
to their fan base.
Depending. Okay, go ahead.
So to go back to you leaving YouTube, the reason I said it's not a regret is because you can become a victim of the algorithm, right? You talk to
True,
somebody who's dealt
Mhm.
with different algorithms on every different social media platform, and no matter how hot you are, you still can become a victim to the numbers and not make the numbers anymore, or you get shadow banned and people don't see your shit. But with YouTube in particular, you can rebuild from zero and
Yes.
go viral again
Yeah.
any
on
day.
YouTube.
That's
Yeah.
the beauty of like
100%.
YouTube. YouTube
Yeah.
will let you start over. I haven't posted a video in months, and even before that, last time I posted a video, I had posted in like a month before that, and they still let me grow back naturally.
Wow.
So
right,
YouTube
yeah.
is always like, "Yo, are you back? Come on, let's get it."
Right.
Compared to the other sites. But for what you're saying, I've been around some YouTubers and some TikTokers and all these people who are massive, and I didn't know who they were,
Right.
but their fans know. And I think to be famous and popular on social media is a blessing because only the people who know you, right?
Right.
So I'm able
It's a
to live
cult
a
following.
regular life, bro. Like unless I go somewhere, like I was in Hawaii this weekend, Shantae was performing, and people came out to see Shantae. They didn't know I was even in the city.
Right.
I go up and do a guest set. People showing mad love. Hey, I love you. All of that
Right.
shit.
Mhm.
I'm taking pictures after the show, and it was one of those things where I was like, "All right, cool." Took a couple pictures, and now I'm back to my life where all these other people don't know me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are a B-list movie star, people know you everywhere. You're
So
a
I-
B-list.
So I think it's also too. It's like, what do you want then? Do you want the energy of fame? Like, I don't necessarily care for like not to ever be able to walk out my house like that.
Right,
I don't really care for that. I kind of like, I do want TV and movie success for sure.
Mhm.
But I mean, being able to walk outside and just go get something to eat with my lady, or
Yeah.
just go by myself and not be bothered is great.
It is, bro.
And
Also, it's freer too.
For sure, yeah.
Because you're not, when you're a B-list actor, you're beholden to corporations, and
Mhm.
you can get canceled.
You
Right.
can.
And
You
that's
know what I mean?
that's probably the
Yeah.
best thing right there, is that you kind of have your own power. Whenever they go, oh, your face is old, nigga, we don't want this no more.
Right.
oh, you're going like, I'm bald. It's like if I was like, yo, you got this nigga got a cul-de-sac now. We don't want to fuck with the cul-de-sac.
But they can still cancel you. For example, when you say that, Trey, I think about Derek Jackson,
Right.
the brother who was super talking about relationships and
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's fucking-
men this and men that,
Right.
and it was built on lies, right?
Mhm.
So
He was fucking. Hey, the same car he was doing his videos in. He fucking his side bitches in the back seat.
Yo, somebody said, I don't know if it's true or not. Somebody said this nigga was filming a video outside of one of his side bitches' house.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
And I was
side bitch said it.
Oh, she said, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, dog.
that's great.
But my
That
bad,
was
you were
crazy.
saying
Go
how
to
he
your
could
point,
get
yeah.
canceled. You said,
Oh yeah, so it's worse to be in that regard to be a social media star, because when the people cancel you, it's a wrap.
Well,
Whereas like
yeah,
a
yeah.
corporation is like, hey, we're done with you. The people are like, no, we're not done with it.
Yes, I
I think
feel that.
I think you're touching on if you're a hypocrite.
Thank you.
No. Not it's okay. Because don't just look at the Derrick Jackson situation. Look at any social media star that might say something racist or homophobic or whatever.
Joe Rogan 1,000,000 times.
But
He's
they've all
never
bounced
lost.
back.
They have not all bounced back. Only the
hasn't?
ones. Well, let me finish this first.
Yeah.
They have not.
Detroit.
They've not all bounced back, but the ones who already had notoriety outside of social media were able to do other. Like when you say Joe Rogan is first news radio. This is 90s.
Yeah,
He's
right.
been an actor and a comedian before
And Fear
even
Factor.
podcast. Fear Factor.
Right.
He's had
Okay.
UFC, like all of these different places where he could touch money if he decided, you know what, I'm done with my podcast. You get what I'm saying? Compared to someone like a Bad Baby, right? Like a Bad Baby says something crazy. Well, she's white, but if she says something crazy,
Now you're canceled, buddy. You're fucking done.
yeah.
But also, I think it goes back to Trey's point. She's a liar. Like her persona
That's
is a
the
lie.
thing.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna piggyback on what you're saying. If you're just authentically yourself,
Right.
and you're doing that, you fuck your feelings, and you're just speaking. If it's not
Right.
coming from a negative place,
Yeah.
the people won't cancel you,
Right.
And they fuck with that because the corporations, they can't. So it's like if you're beholden to somebody else,
Yeah.
you do have a leash.
I
then-
feel
a
like
little
if you
bit.
have a genuine fan base,
Right.
they're gonna
That's
give
the
you.
key.
They're gonna
Yeah.
give you some grace.
You have to have. I always say, and I know it's probably a bad word to use in a sense, but like a cult like following.
Right,
Like
yeah,
somebody, I love. That's why I love Kendrick and Cole. They have a following that no matter what they say, their core base, their core following will never leave.
I mean, Kendrick called white people crackers about 19 times on this
Yeah.
new album, and all those white fans still gonna be like,
yeah,
Kendrick!
they gonna sing it in concert when it
What's
goes on
the
tour.
dance, Justin?
Kendrick.
But even to your Joe Rogan point, right?
Yeah.
If he really got canceled, he wouldn't get canceled from like his fan base wouldn't stop from his podcast. Everything else that you said would have stopped. UFC would have stopped.
Yes.
Commercials would have stopped. If he's
Yeah.
on any other TV show, they would have been like, "Bro, we pulling you, dog. We
But
can't."
stand up and podcasts are the one
He-
thing that
Well,
you
that's
can't
the-
really cancel.
Right.
When I say cancel and the people canceling you, I'm specifically speaking about views, right?
Yeah.
So when I say everybody's a victim to the algorithm, I mean the first slump that I had ever seen. I don't have time for this, but it was the first one
Nah,
I
go for
saw
it. We got time.
was Instagram when they first changed the algorithm after I was already making videos.
Yeah.
I went from literally 1 million in a day or 1 million in 2 days
Like views or
Yeah,
followers?
views.
Okay.
to when they changed the algorithm, which brought in ads. Like the first time they were like,
yeah,
yo,
the long
pay
form,
for
yeah.
ads.
Yep.
That changed my views. And I'm talking about hit everybody.
Yeah.
It went from 1 million in 2 days or 1 million in a day till about 10,000 for the day.
Mhm.
Or I remember one video hit 3,800. And I was like, and mind you, this is before
Yeah,
Instagram was paid.
Yeah.
But it was like
Yeah.
at that time, this was our livelihood. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how is this possible? So
The algorithm.
no matter how
Yeah.
much your core audience fucks with you,
If they can't see it.
if they can't see you, it's a wrap.
Mhm.
It's
That's
like
a fact.
with Facebook, a lot of people can't see my shit unless you're already in my algorithm.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
They changed it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like there are people who literally will post every day, man, where the videos at? He was like, the videos are right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're always beholden of that algorithm.
So I do agree with that. You can be a slave to the algorithm, and I think that's why also you probably have to find a funnel or try to find a way to start funneling people to a space that's
Yeah.
yours.
Mhm.
Whether like some people have an app, you know, like Kevin says has an app or whatever. I think Jade might have an app, or you have a website to where people can come specifically to see your stuff.
Right.
So now the algorithm necessarily can't mess with that,
Right.
and you can just funnel people there to go see your content.
Well, let me give you this. I'm so glad you said that. So let's look at a Patreon or an app, right?
Yeah.
Go to a Patreon. Like, first of all, patreon.com/CTSDope.
Straight up.
But you go to a Patreon or you go to somebody's app, and I want you to really look at the view count or comment numbers, right?
Right.
So let's say, for example,
That boy had a Patreon, nigga. I had 3 views, 2 comments.
but that's what I'm saying. And how many subscribers? It's
Way
like,
more than that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So people, I say that to say the people who support you financially are your people.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't guarantee that they're, because in their
That's
mind, they're
true.
like, yo, I'm supporting this dude.
Yeah.
Here's $5 a month.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean here's $5 a month. I'm about to come to this separate app
That's true.
that's not my, my wake up in the morning and go to app and look at your content.
That's
But
true.
here's my
Okay.
money because I love and support.
I want me down, I get it. Hate that I keep winning. Stab my back is tempting.